And we are back. Welcome to the final round of predictions for the Nations League this week. This is going to be covering all of the matches taking place on Saturday. If you want to see my video containing all of my predictions for today's matches, which obviously include England against Greece as well, that video will be available for you right here. So you can check out all 10 predictions I have for today's matches. But now you will have all of the predictions available for you for match day 3 before a ball is kicked this afternoon. So if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you do enjoy all of the prediction series on this channel, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Thank you once again for 4,000 subscribers. Let's see how quickly we can get to 5,000, because over the course of the next few days, we're going to be continuing all of the predictions in the build up to match day 4, and then club football will be returning once again. And don't forget, after tonight's game between England and Greece, we will once again have another post-match reaction as I try and dissect how well or badly England did tonight with Lee Carsley still in charge. Now, finally, before we get into it, a reminder that so far in the UEFA Nations League, we are only on 26 out of 51, just over 50% so far. It proves how tough it is to call this Nations League. But obviously, as we move into the videos for the remainder of this international break, those numbers are going to keep going up as matches are starting to be played today. So hopefully we can stay above 50%. But I have to tell you, before we get into today's video, that the fixtures taking place today are by far the hardest ones we have had so far over the course of this match day 3. But without any further ado, let's get straight into it. We've got 2 groups in League C and 2 groups in League A today. So let's start things off with League C, Group 2, and the opening match is between Lithuania and Kosovo. Now, Lithuania have lost their opening 2 fixtures in this Nations League group. Kosovo lost 3-0 at home to Romania, but then won 4-0 away in Cyprus. And when you consider that Lithuania lost to Cyprus and Kosovo have already beaten Cyprus 4-0, coupled with the fact that the last time that these two sides played was in 2021, and Kosovo won that by a 4-0 scoreline as well, it's pretty unrealistic to consider that Lithuania can really get anything out of this match. They did score against Romania, so I'm going to give them a goal, but I'm going to go for a pretty comfortable 3-1 win to Kosovo. I could potentially see it being an even larger scoreline than that. That then leaves the other game in this group between Cyprus and Romania. Romania have won both of their opening games, as we've sort of just said, beating both Kosovo and Lithuania. Cyprus were able to beat Lithuania, but were well beaten by Kosovo. And realistically, Romania should be dominating the entirety of this group, and Cyprus should be no real challenge for them. The question just is, how much are they going to win by? I'm going to go for 3-0 purely because they're away from home, but Kosovo beat them 4-0 away from home, and Romania beat Kosovo 3-0. So, this could be way more. I'm just going to go for a blanket 3-0. Ultimately, it's just going to be a case of how much Romania win by. The other group in League C is a much, much tougher one to call. We've got Bulgaria, Luxembourg, Belarus, and Northern Ireland. And between these 4 teams, in the 4 matches we've had across match day 1 and match day 2, there's only been 4 goals. So that's how tight this group is. We'll start, of course, with Bulgaria and Luxembourg. And so far in this group, Bulgaria are yet to concede. So makes it a little bit interesting. They obviously played pretty well so far. They're on 4 points with a win and a draw. Luxembourg are struggling so far and have lost both of their matches so far, but again, by very narrow margins. The last time these two sides met was in 2022. That was in a friendly, and that finished 0-0. So there is definitely remit to say that this one's going to finish 0-0, but given the fact that Luxembourg have lost both of their opening games so far, and Bulgaria are the home side in this one, I just think Bulgaria are going to take it. Whether or not it's going to be 1-0 or 2-0, we shall see. I'm going to go for 2-0 though, because I do think Bulgaria are by far the stronger side on paper. The other game in the group, however, though, this is just a horrible one. Belarus against Northern Ireland. Now, the game's going to be played in Hungary. Belarus haven't conceded a goal so far in this tournament either. Both of these sides beat Luxembourg already in this tournament, but Northern Ireland won 2-0 compared to Belarus only winning 1-0. So it's just the margins in this one. Again, it would surprise me if there's any more than 1 or maybe 2 goals in this match. It's just whether or not it's going to be a 0-0, a 1-0 either way, or a 1-1 draw. I would be very surprised if anyone scores more than 1 goal in this match. I am going to go for a 1-0 win for Northern Ireland, because I do believe that on paper the Northern Irish side is just a little bit stronger than Belarus. But honestly, like I said, this entire group is so hard to call, and this fixture in particular is probably going to end up being the hardest one to call of the night. Let's move on then to League A, and we start off in Group 1 in League A, and we start with Croatia taking on Scotland in Saturday evening's game. Now, these two last played in Euro 2020, which was obviously played in 2021 instead. So they have played relatively recently in competitive competitions. On that occasion, it was a 3-1 win to Croatia. And on top of that, going into this game, Scotland have lost both of their opening fixtures so far in this Nations League to Poland and to Portugal. But even though they did lose both of those games, they were by very, very narrow margins and due to very late goals. I think it was a 97th minute penalty from Lewandowski and then an 88th minute winner from Cristiano Ronaldo at home. So they're losing to the right calibre of player in the last minute. So Sod's Law would indicate that the way this group's gone so far, Scotland are going to lose this game by a last-minute winner from Luka Modric, because it just seems to be the absolute icons of each country finishing them off. However, I really think away from home, Scotland are going to struggle, and Croatia are normally very, very good at home as well. So we'll see what happens in this one. I still think Croatia should take it. I'm going to go for 2-1 though. That's on the belief that I think Croatia should definitely win this game, but I just think it'll be a close one to call. I still think it'd be a real upset if Scotland got the draw or got the win. I'm just saying I only think 2-1 because I think it'll just be hard for Croatia to score more than that, and I always think Scotland are capable of scoring. The other game in the group is very, very close to call as well, because Portugal have obviously played Croatia and Scotland so far, and they won both games 2-1. They went 2-0 up against Croatia, then got pegged back, and as we just spoke about, they were very, very lucky to beat Scotland with that last-minute winner from Ronaldo. Poland, on the other hand, lost 1-0 to Croatia, but beat Scotland 3-2, and Poland are playing pretty well at the moment, and they've got a Robert Lewandowski who's absolutely on fire. He scored a hat-trick last week. Again, with them being at home, I definitely give them a chance against Portugal, but I just always think with the quality that Portugal have available to them, when they're coming up against sides like Poland, with the greatest of respects to Poland, Portugal should win this game. But they weren't that convincing against Croatia. They certainly weren't that convincing at home to Scotland. So for the third time in this group, I'm going to go for 2-1 to Portugal. And that is purely off of expectation that Portugal should win this game. But I'm not that confident. I definitely think Poland could get a result here. But I'm never going to back against the Portugal side that is that strong on paper. Finally then, that leaves us with League A Group 4. And this has been a bizarre group so far. Serbia were able to get a 0-0 draw against Spain in Matchday 1, but were then beaten 2-0 by Denmark. Whereas the Swiss also lost 2-0 to Denmark and then got absolutely spanked 4-1 at home by the Spanish in Matchday 2. So it's a weird one to place this between Serbia and Switzerland. These two last met in 2022 at the World Cup. Switzerland won 3-2 on that occasion, and that ultimately meant that Serbia were eliminated. So Serbia are going to be looking for revenge in this. Like I said, they were able to get the 0-0 draw against Spain, which Switzerland certainly weren't able to do. But in that same vein, Serbia have only scored 1 goal in their last 4 matches and haven't scored in either of their matches in this Nations League so far. So, again, this is such a hard one to call. I genuinely think that on paper, Serbia should be considered the stronger side going into this one in terms of actual form, despite not scoring so far, when you consider that the Swiss have been really defensively shocking and have conceded 6 goals in their opening 2 matches. But at the same time, the Swiss have some very good players that are still playing well at the moment. And if it all comes together for them, I can see them getting a result. So with all of that said, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw just because I genuinely have no real means of splitting these two sides. You've got a side that have conceded 6 in 2 against a side that have scored none in 2. So something's got to give. Maybe the Swiss nick it. Maybe the Serbians nick it. I can't split them. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. And then we have Spain against Denmark in the other fixture. Obviously, Denmark sit at the top of the table in this group after winning both of their matchday 1 and 2 matches 2-0 against Serbia and Switzerland, respectively. Spain, as we've just spoken about, drew 0-0 against Serbia, but then got a 4-1 win away in Switzerland. So you've got to fancy Spain at home. They're obviously the defending champions and the defending Euro champions as well. They've got some really good players and some really good form. Obviously, no Rodri for them with his ACL injury, not just affecting Manchester City, but affecting Spain as well. Will that be a massive factor in the remainder of this Nations League? I'm not so sure. Spain, especially at home, you would expect to get the result, but I'm only going to go for 3-1. I'm still confident they'll get the win. I still think Denmark will score. Denmark are playing some great stuff at the moment, but if they manage to keep Spain out like they managed to keep Serbia and Switzerland out, then fair play to them. But that is it. That is going to round off all of the predictions for Matchday 3. I will, of course, still be back tomorrow with my first round of fixtures for Matchday 4, fresh off the results for those teams in Matchday 3. So, as always, let me know all your thoughts down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching and listening, as always. I'll be back tonight with my post-match reaction to England against Greece, and then we get to start it all over again with part 1 of Matchday 4 tomorrow morning. I'll see you there.